evening. Welcome to Intentions, Resolutions, and Goals, Oh My. The theme for this evening, set a goal or an intention or a resolution so big that you can't achieve it until you turn into the person who can. Now, before we really dive into things, I want to go over a few housekeeping details. For those of you for whom Zoom is a new platform, there's a few commands that I want to turn your attention to at the bottom of your screen. So on the very far left is your mute button, and I'm going to ask all of you to go on mute for the beginning parts, and then I'm going to unmute you as you have questions, as I open up the floor, because this is a live interactive training, so I really hope we get a great discussion going. To the right of that is your video. You can turn your video on or off. Totally your choice, challenge by choice here, but I encourage you to share your video because it's so much more fun when we can see one another and when we can feel like we're already in community and engaged together, get to know one another. And then there's also a button called chat that's more towards the center of your screen. If you hit that button, a chat box will open up on your right-hand side. And if you ever have questions throughout the training this evening, feel free to type your question in the box or raise your hand, unmute, and let me know. Either way, but we'll hopefully be able to get a discussion going either in the chat box and or live. Are there any other questions before we begin? No? Okay, great. Well, I want to, again, acknowledge and thank you for being here. We have busy, busy lives, and I know that we're competing with a lot of things on our plate. So the fact that you are here, the fact that you chose to attend this live training, not only did you sign up, but you showed up, tells me that you are committed to making some big changes in your life, and you're ready to create your big year, whatever that looks like to you, and we're gonna get into that as well. So pretty darn exciting. Now, did you know that you are actually of less than half the population that even sets intentions or resolutions in the first place? So congratulations and kudos to you. What's kind of startling is the fact that after, within a week of the new year, only 25% of people are still going after their goals. Only 25. And within the first 2 weeks, research says 85% of people have already dropped off the bandwagon. Now, that is not you, because you are here, and we're gonna make sure that that does not become us. So we're only 10 days into the new year. So please don't give up on those goals, those resolutions quite yet. And at the same time, if you haven't even begun to think about what it is that you wanna create in 2017, it's all good. We still have 355 days ahead of us. There is still tons of time to create and achieve anything it is that you want. So why is it that we even talk about goals? Well, because they actually work. So there was a study done that looked at a Harvard graduating MBA class. And in the graduating class, they asked this question: who of you have goals? Now, of the whole class, there were only 3% that actually had goals and wrote them down. 13% had goals, but didn't necessarily have a plan or didn't write them down. They were just sort of in their head. And a whopping 84% did not have any idea of what they wanted to do post their degree at all. Now, I want you to think about that for a second, and I want you to think about where you fit in. And if you have ever thought about a goal or ever set a goal and written it down, I want you to write yes in the chat box. We're gonna get that engagement going right away, get you to practice. So if you've ever thought about having a goal or you've ever even created a goal, then please write yes. Okay, good. We've got some people. Yes, great. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, so you've written goals before. Amazing. All right, so this study then reconnected with that class 10 years after they had graduated. And of the 3% that had written down goals, they were making 10 times more, and I know it's not just about money, but 10 times more on average than the other 97% combined. And those that had goals that were in their head, 13%, they were making on average 2 times more than the rest of their group. So it does show that these things work. Now, again, it's not necessarily about the money, but it's just one way to measure things. So thinking about what it is that you want to create, even if you haven't written it down yet, even just putting a thought to it already is starting that momentum subconsciously or consciously in terms of what it is that you want to create. So why is it that so many people are afraid to set goals, or they set goals but they don't necessarily want to write them down, or you know, maybe they have set some goals but they don't necessarily achieve them? What are some things that hold people back? Now, I'm going to open up the, I'm going to unmute everybody so that we can open up the floor here, because I want to hear from you. What are some things that hold you back, have held you back in the past, or, you know, or maybe something that you're feeling, experiencing right now?
Fear.
That's what I was going to say.
Hi.
Yeah, fear's a big one. What else? I have slides. I really want to keep it interactive, but I'm just going to share with you. It's funny that you say that, because here's what we're going to be doing. But fear is one of the biggest ones. So I'll go over that in a second. Oh, sorry. It's all right. I know I'm skipping through this. All right, fear. There we go. That is what stops.
That's me. That's me in the photo.
Okay, what else is stopping us?
Family responsibilities.
Family responsibilities, yeah. So something that
Money,
time, all of those sorts of resources, yeah. Somebody else going to say something? So something I like to call comparisonitis. Sometimes we don't even know what we want, and we look at what everybody else is doing around us, and we either feel like we need to take on goals of other people, or we don't think that we're good enough because we're looking at what everyone else does it, and it also prevents us from thinking about what makes sense for us.
Yep.
Along that same line, a lot of us do things that we should do, right? We live according to other people's values, or according to values that we've been brought up with, and we think that, oh yeah, I really should do this, or I should do that, whether or not it's be more productive, or be more organized, or work out more, or read more. Now, all of those things might be great if they make sense to you, if they're in alignment with what your values are. But often we adapt these things and we take them on because we're told to do them, or because other people are doing them, or because we feel this pressure from society to do them, the shoulds. So some of you mentioned family responsibilities, so other obligations often prevents us as well from setting goals. Often when we don't necessarily take the time to figure out what it is that we want in the first place. Sometimes we're so busy, going, doing, that we don't actually take the time to ask ourselves, what is it that we want? What do we want to create? And then when we do take that time to ask, often we don't follow up with an actual plan. So tonight, we are going to take the time to ask ourselves what it is that we want to create, what we want to experience, what we want to be, do, and have here in 2017. And then we're also going to have a system that we're going to learn so that we can create a plan around that. So we're going to take the time, we're going to get rid of the shoulds, get rid of the comparisonitis, and take this time to focus. So I really, really invite you to honor this time that you've set aside for yourself, and to really do the work here in the moment. There's no such thing as perfect. Doesn't mean that you're committing for the rest of your life. You can use pen or pencil. Things are going to change. You're going to change. But I really invite you to be present here, to do the work, to ask yourself sometimes these very difficult questions, because it's not often that we actually get this time. So let's use it wisely, let's use it well, and let's take this time to get really inspired and excited about what we can create. Now, I invite you to stay on till the end of the call, because not only are you going to learn the system that you're going to need to be able to create these goals, but I'm also going to make you an offer that's going to make it so much easier to have the plan and put it into place, because we're going to, on top of, learn how we can get that accountability, how we can get that community, and how we can work on a positive mindset on a regular basis. One of the biggest things that stops people is having this either non-deserving mindset or a I don't believe in myself mindset. And so on those days where we're not totally feeling great, or when we fall off the bandwagon, which we're going to do because we're humans, to be able to have a community, to be able to have what I call a positive peeps posse around you for that support, for that accountability, is really, really powerful and really, really important. So I invite you to stay on to the end. We can talk about how to make sure that we not only have the process to make our goals come true, but that we actually follow through as well. Okay, so I'm going to put you all on mute again just for a second. I'm going to share with you a little bit about what we're doing tonight, and then again, we'll open it up on the floor. So at this time of year, we're being inundated with this idea of goal setting. Now, I think goals are important at any time of year. However, especially at this time of year, there's a lot of talk about it because it's not only a new month, but it's also a new year. It's like a fresh opportunity, a blank page, a new canvas that we get to think about and create whatever it is that we want. That being said, sometimes we're so inundated with all the different ways that we're supposed to go about doing it that it prevents us from taking any action at all. Now, I don't know about you, but I was inundated a few years ago with whether I should create intentions for myself or resolutions or goals, and I didn't know what to do, and so I got stuck. And instead I thought, okay, how can I take all of these ideas and make it into an easy system that excites me, but that I can have all there that I know I'm following? And so I came up with a 1, 2, 3 step process. And that's what I'm going to share with you this evening. So 1 intention, 2 resolutions, and 3 goals. That's the work that we're going to do tonight. And all of it's going to be around one central theme for what we want our 2017 to look like. And once you have that, and once you get excited, then being able to have the steps in place to be able to work the plan becomes that much easier. All right, so I'm going to share with you this 1, 2, 3 process. And I know that you're somebody that's open to this, that is excited about setting goals, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So I know you're going to like this system too, and I'm excited to share with you this process. All right, now, was I always into this? Was I always somebody who was gearing up towards a new year and loved thinking about all that I wanted to create? Absolutely not. I was that girl growing up, and I can, share those pictures again, who did whatever it took to please anybody and everybody. So I pleased my teachers, I pleased the cool kids, I pleased my parents. I really wanted to get that external validation, to get that recognition, to get that approval. And finally, I had a breakdown, and I decided that I was going to get rid of all the expectations and go after what I wanted, which was Broadway. So I went to theater school instead. Now, the problem was I didn't necessarily believe in myself, but there was always one person who did. She was at every opening and every closing of every show I ever did, and that was my mom. And then soon after graduation, she got sick, and I eventually moved back home to look after her and felt purpose for the first time in my life. Finally did not feel like I wasn't good enough, wasn't pretty enough, skinny enough, tall enough, blonde enough to land the role or get the gig. I was exactly where I needed to be. And then in an instant, I lost it all when she passed away. I lost my purpose, I lost my number one fan, and I lost me. And so I spent a lot of time searching in Thailand, volunteering at orphanages for babies and children, in Calcutta, working with Mother Teresa's Missions of Charity. I shaved my head, raised $10,000 for breast cancer, lived in an ashram, practiced intense yoga meditation. I learned how to ride surfboards and motorbikes, and I lived with a man in a van in New Zealand, went apple picking for a year. I did some crazy experiences. Now, I learned quite a few lessons on my journey, and some of the big ones were that you can't always choose what happens to you in life, but you can choose how you show up, who you want to be, and what you're going to do about it. You also can't rely on anybody else to believe in you. You need to learn how to believe in yourself. And as cliche as it sounds, I really did learn that life is simply too short not to live your biggest life. Now I have news for you. 2017 has already begun. Your life has already begun. You don't get a dress rehearsal for life. So it's happening right now. Why not try and make it exactly what it is that we want? Why not be at the cause of our life instead of at the reaction at the tail end? We really can be the people to create what it is that we want, all right? So we're gonna get into this process so that we can get inspired and excited about all that 2017 has to offer. So my question now, are you ready? Are you ready to go? If you're ready, type in the chat box, ready. I know Lori's ready, she's excited, she's pumped. Now, hopefully all of you have the handout. Did you get the handout? Yes, I hope. Okay, so make sure you grab that handout. And before we ask ourselves the questions and really get into the exercises, I just want to offer some definitions of what the differences are between intentions, resolutions, and goals, because we need to know what it is that we're doing and what we're setting before we get into it. So an intention for me is an overall feeling, a theme, or a motto, something that we want sort of as our overarching idea moving into this year, okay? Some examples of intentions are to to get out of my comfort zone, to play a bigger game, to say yes, to live according to my values, to do what matters to me, to get outside, to be active, your overall intention, okay? And then we have a resolution. A resolution is more of a habit, something that you add into your life that you need to do in order to be able to live according to your intention. So maybe a resolution could be to be in bed before midnight, so you're going to be uber productive, or to drink 8 glasses of water a day, or to floss. Those are sort of habits, but they're resolutions that you want to add on. Maybe you want to write every day. Maybe you want to read 10 pages every day. Whatever it is, those are resolutions. And then goals, of course, are things that you want to achieve that are SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-oriented. I know you've all heard of SMART goals before, so I'm not going to necessarily get into it and reiterate, but they're really, really important, because if you set a goal to be happy, now, as important as that is, it's hard to know what you can do in order to make sure that you are happy. So we want to get really specific in our goal setting. We want to choose things that we can measure so that we know when we've got there. Because if you don't know where you want to go, you're never going to be able to know when you arrive. All right? So those are the 3 differences. Now, you're here. We may as well play full out. And so with your permission, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise. And so I would love you all to close your eyes right now just for a minute. Close your eyes and imagine that it is January 10th, 2018. And all that you've wanted to experience, create, and manifest in your year has taken place. Take a moment to just breathe that in. And then I want you to take notice where you are, who you're with, what you might be seeing, hearing, smelling, even tasting. Really begin to notice all of the sensations that you're experiencing. Think about what's happened and who you've needed to be in order to make that happen. And then I want you to focus on how you're feeling. What emotions are coming up? Take a big breath in, letting all of that sink in. Yeah, let's do that one more time. Big breath in. Let it out. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And I want you to write the first emotions that come to mind at the top of your page before even thinking about it. Take your pen and write down those emotions. Okay. And I'm going to unmute all of you. Anybody who's brave enough to share just one of the emotions they're feeling, I invite you to share now.
That was so much fun. I've never done anything like that. Thank you, Carol. I would say I just felt completely fulfilled in terms of my goal. Like I just felt like I did it. You know, I'm here. I'm doing this. You know, and I just felt like a perfectly round circle of happy.
Wow, I love that. Love that. I hope you wrote down fulfilled. And
I did. I wrote down fulfilled, happy, excited, proud, connected, and grateful.
Great. Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Lori. Okay, who else wants to share one or more of their words, their feelings, their emotions?
Well, my first word was fulfillment as well.
There we go.
There we go. And my second word was peace, and then happiness, love, and balance.
Balance.
Yeah.
Mine was peaceful.
powerful, right? To actually like sit in that moment and look back. Know that we've experienced that. Who else has something to share?
I don't have video. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can definitely hear you. Who's this?
Okay, this is Remy. It's I felt content. So in addition to peaceful and balanced and whatnot, to feel contentment to know that I've attained that.
Great, thanks, Remy. And if somebody doesn't want to share live, if you'd rather just type in one of your feelings, then you can totally do that. So again, it's challenge by choice here. But if you'd like to share, then I invite you to, and feel free to also do so in the chat box. Awesome. Okay, so I want us to hang on to these feelings when we're thinking about what intention we want to set for this year. So let's say we want to feel that peace. We want to be peaceful. We want to be content, fulfilled, joyful, happy. What intention set for your year? Because when we put it out there, as esoteric as it might seem, we're already telling the universe that that's what we're saying we're doing, and then it's ready to look after us, right? The universe has your back. So I'd love for you to think about that and then write down on your handout what your one intention is for the year. And I'm going to be doing it. I have one complete and one blank one, so I can do it again. Does anyone need more time?
Nope.
Okay, awesome. Who wants to share?
Oh, I'll start. This is Remy again. I am going to put me first and do better self-care this year. I've always put other people first, and I've come to have some health issues, and I need to really work on putting me first and making sure that I take care of me.
Good for you. Good for you. I love that. Okay, so let's get that into one sentence that's really powerful. I love all those ideas in there, and I want it to be an intention that you can say to yourself daily, however many times that you want, that you can write on a post-it. So is it, I put myself first?
Close the door.
Well, I'm just going to mute all. I'm going to unmute Remy for a second. Remy.
Yes.
Can you share, can you put it into one tight little phrase? I put myself first. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I put myself first. Oh, okay. I have to think about that. And it's so outside of my comfort zone. It's just because putting myself first is just so out of character. So.
Oh, well, if you want, if you want to change, because something new has to come out of you, or something new has to come into you. So it's gonna be different, right? And you also said something about self-care. So if you want, maybe it's maybe it's about self-care as well. Okay, no, I can't.
I will do one thing.
You will do one thing. Are you still there, Remy? Uh-oh. Did I lose you?
And it looks like she dropped. Oh, there.
Okay. It said I was muted, then it said I was unmuted. But I think, am I, can you hear me now?
You can hear you now. The floor is all yours, my dear.
Okay. So I will do one thing each day towards self-care, whether it be a walk, reading a passage from a book or something.
Great.
That's a start.
Good. That's amazing. I want to hang on to that. That's a great resolution to set because that's one thing every day that you can do, and we can come up with some ideas for you. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, thank you, Remy. Are we good?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, who else would like to share? Lori's dying to share. All right.
Yeah, I'm just like exploding over here. So my intention is sharing. Sharing is my intention because I think I have lots to learn in the discovery process that we talked about previously. And I think that sharing, because every conversation goes two directions, at least they should. And I have lots to learn, and I'm excited about learning, and I'm also excited about sharing what I already know, so someone else has the same experience. So I think in terms of an intention, like an overall theme, I think sharing will carry me nicely through the year.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing just now. You're already practicing your intention. I love it. Good work. Okay, who else? Angela, do you have something you'd like to share?
Oh, always got something to say, sure. For me, just to be strong within myself and create within that and create balance between my business, my family, and making sure that all the priorities are where they need to be.
Great. Okay. So love that. All amazing ideas. How can we wrap that in one nice little phrase that encompasses all of that? So something about priorities. Like I put my, I don't want to put words into your mouth because this is your intention, so you have to create, obviously. But something like my priorities come first, or my priorities are my all, or I honor my priorities. Something like that. Or
I like that. I honor my priorities. I like that.
Okay, cool. So maybe you want to work with that, and again, you don't have to necessarily use that, but I think the simpler our intention is, the easier it is for us to understand what that is and to live that out. So I honor my priorities or something like that. I like that. Okay, cool. Thank you. Anyone else? I am unmuting. By the way, thank you so much for your patience with me as I get used to this technology. So, anyone else who would like to share? Okay, we are going to continue on. So if this is going to be our intention, we need to now start to think about some of the things that we want to bring into our life to ensure that our intention is going to be lived out, to be played out. So one of the examples that Remy very kindly shared was that she wants to do something every day for self-care. So an example could be a resolution that she set. So maybe it is, I choose a self-care activity every day, or I walk for a minimum of 5 minutes every day, or I let myself breathe for a minimum of 5 minutes every day. But it's a habit, something that you want to do on a regular basis. That makes it a resolution as opposed to a goal. We're going to set goals as well, but thinking about what you want your intention to be. If it's about priorities, what are some resolutions that you want to set? You take a Saturday or a Sunday and spend an hour looking at your week ahead and ensure that your top priorities are met. Maybe you want to take an assessment, not an assessment, but an evaluation, and look at your life and identify what your priorities are and make sure that you look at those priorities on a daily or weekly basis. Something like that. If you want to share, what is that? I spend 5 minutes a day connecting with myself, or I make one phone call a day, or I reach out to one person a day to share something or to ask something of someone. So thinking about your intention. What are some resolutions that you might like to set? And then I want you to write down 2 that you're committing to and following through on the sheet. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to do that. And when you're ready, when you've completed your resolutions, if you could just type in the chat box, ready. Thank you. Okay, Laura, you have a question?
No, actually, I don't have a chat box. I don't know why. So whenever I go into like the more section, it doesn't really show me. And when I try to go share content, it doesn't really take me to the right place either. So I'm just letting you know I'm ready.
Oh, okay, great. Below your video, do you see a little box that says chat?
It might
No.
say it might say participants.
Oh, okay. There we go. That's what I have.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's see, user. I don't see chat box. Oh,
And then
chat.
it should say chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So just tap here and enter it. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Angela.
Ready. Amazing. Thank you for that, Angela. Thanks for that help. Awesome. Okay, everybody's ready. Okay, great. So for those of you who aren't quite ready, totally fine. Again, this isn't the only time we're going to be looking at this, I hope. So more opportunity to think about it. And I know I'm asking you to do it on the spot. So forgive me. And I'm challenging you because, again, we have this time together. So let's do the work now. However, if you want to take more time above and beyond, absolutely, that's all right as well. Okay, so for those who are ready, I'm going to mute everybody, but you can unmute yourself. So raise your hand if you want to share and you're ready to give an example of one of your resolutions or both. Angela, you're ready. I know you're ready. All right, let's hear from you.
I'm ready. I was trying to let other people go though first. My first one was journaling to do a self-check, whether that's on a daily basis or every 2 or 3 days. That always helps bring back into myself so I know where I'm at. And my second was to do a weekly plan to set my priorities for the whole week. Make sure that everything gets done that I'd like to get done.
I love that. Those are great. Okay, so journaling on a daily basis to see where you're at, and then setting a weekly plan to make sure that your priorities are in check and being met. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing and some great ideas. Okay, Laura, you have your hand. I'm guessing you are ready to share. So let us.
I am. So I guess central to mine is learning. Having constantly learning and reading. Being current, being open-minded in terms of process and all of those things, because ultimately it just gives me that much more to share and to be more informed myself. So it allows me to be more meaningful in that respect. And seeking those opportunities to, like, reaching out, as you mentioned, and it can mean in various different forms, but doing that on a daily/weekly basis. I mean, in some circumstances I'd have an opportunity on a daily basis and some not, but definitely making the commitment to be consistently doing that. And then thirdly, I wrote down meditation, because meditation helps me a great deal, and it kind of supports my entire process. So because being open-minded is really, really important in the area that I'm speaking to spirituality here. So those are 3 things that I'll be dealing with at a minimum weekly, more likely in the case of the learning and the meditation daily. And I'm kind of already doing that.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
And I love that you're getting specific as well, because even if you put like a time frame to it, like I will meditate for a minimum of 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, or I will read either a page limit or number, then at least you can do a check-in with yourself. Are you doing it, right?
I have it on my schedule. So basically when I complete it, I do it in the evening when I have relaxation time, and I have my reading time, and I have my meditation time. And so all of that, I mean, anything that I do is extra, but I I'm not deleting it off my daily calendar until it's done.
Great. Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from somebody that we haven't heard from yet. I'm not going to necessarily call anybody out, but I am going to unmute those that we haven't heard from yet. And whoever is brave enough to share, I invite you to do so. Not that you're not brave if you don't share. I know it's totally a personal choice, so that's okay. Oh, yes, who do we have here? I just see, unfortunately, I don't have a name associated, so I can't call you by name, but I would love to hear one of your resolutions. Are you there? Okay, so somebody's intention is to be strategic with time and energy. I love that. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Sheila, do you have an idea of one resolution that will help you live out this amazing intention of being more strategic with time and energy? What does that look like in a regular practice? Anyone else? Remy, do you want to share one of your resolutions?
Yeah, I will make a phone call or connect with somebody supportive on at least, let's see, what do I have? I will make a phone call or connect with someone supportive to my self-care goals, at least once a day.
At least, sorry, once a day or once a week, you said?
Once a day. I was thinking, one day, I mean, typically that would be my husband, of course, but other friends, my sister, I'll change it up, but at least connect with somebody on my progress.
Great. Okay. So you'll connect with somebody weekly on your progress, specifically with your self-care. Somebody.
Yes.
Love it. Great. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So Sheila has an idea, which is to assess my time weekly to see what works and what doesn't with respect to my business growth. Great. Okay. So going to do a weekly assessment, which is great, especially with specifically to her intention of being strategic with time and energy. I love that. Great. Because if we do these regular check-ins, then, we're just giving that moment. Okay, did it work? Did it not? What do I need to do differently? What can I implement? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? And what do I need to continue to do? And it's funny, like weekly seems doable enough, but sometimes we can get so busy in our lives that weeks have gone by and we haven't done a check-in with ourselves. And when you're intentional and you actually say that you're going to be doing this, chances are you will, because you know how it's going to make you feel afterwards. So I love that, assessing your time on a weekly basis to see what works and what doesn't in your business growth. Great, thank you. And then the second one that Sheila has is to learn new skills, I need to move forward to delivering my knowledge in groups rather than one-on-one. Love that. Okay, great. And what I love about this, Sheila, is that this is a resolution that is going to fare very well into creating a goal that we're going to move into next. Okay, unfortunately, Angela has to leave. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to share? You're unmuted, Angela, before you leave. Okay, may the force be with you. You will get the recording. Don't worry. Thank you so much for being with us. And one of our ending quotes with you early, that if your dreams don't scare you, then you're not. So setting these intentions, these resolutions, these goals are sometimes going to be scary, but that's because you're stretching yourself. So that's a good thing, okay? We will see you next time. Angela, thanks for being with us. All right, thank you so much for sharing those resolutions, Sheila, and a great segue into what we're going to do next, which is actual setting of goals. So we have our overall intention, it's exciting, it's inspiring, we now have resolutions, some habits, some activities that we're committed to taking on either a daily or a weekly basis, which is great, and these are gonna help us set and achieve the goals that we wanna set. So this process is a 1, 2, 3 process, which means we've got 3 goals. 2 of them can be career or business oriented if you want, but I want at least one of them to be personal. If you want all 3 of them to be personal, amazing. If you want 2 of them, it's your choice, but at least one, I really encourage you to be personal because we've got so many different facets to our life. So before you set these goals, I want you to think about your career, your relationships, your health and wellness, your personal finances, your spirituality, your recreation and fun, all those different areas of your life. Really think about all of those and which areas you want to focus on in terms of your goals, okay? So I'm gonna give you a minute or two to set 3 goals. And when you're ready, again, I invite you to write in the chat box, ready, so we can start the discussion and hear from some of you. Just imagine there is inspiring, epic soundtrack music playing in the background. It didn't really work last time, so I'm going to leave it out. But get yourself into a place where you're super excited and inspired. Okay, we have a few of you ready, which is great. Give you another moment or two. Okay, who would like to start? Who has an idea? Again, don't necessarily have to share. I'm not gonna pick you out, but for those of you who are willing, know that when you share, you help other people too. Chances are there's somebody else who wants to be inspired by your goal, or perhaps the sharing of your goal inspires them for something that they want to achieve as well. Lori, are you ready to share something?
I am. I didn't even have to say anything.
Your energy, I can feel it. Okay.
So my goals are teaching in some form in my career, having that element in my career, and I'm in a career transitional kind of state right now. So it's something that it's actually very timely to be setting that as a goal. And then I made my other 2 personal. I liked this suggestion because, my circumstances you're familiar with, and I won't divulge here, but, paying attention to myself is extremely important. And there are elements that are missing for me, largely health-wise. Spiritually, I'm in good shape. Physically, I'm doing okay, but I need to focus more on my physical health. And it's not about joining a gym, because I've done that. I'm watching what I'm eating, and I'm being careful about those things. After the holidays, it's quite inspiring. But taking care of my health, working out specifically, or finding, eating superfoods and all of those tiny things that basically will add up to just physically being in better shape. And the idea that I could accomplish that within the year would be amazing. And then a romantic relationship. It's been a very long time for me since I've been in a romantic relationship. It's not something I focused on because of another journey I've been on, but it's something that I'm open to. And so yes, it has to be on the list too, because that would be like the picture, the part of the fulfillment picture, for sure.
Great. Thank you. Okay, those are some great goals. So thank you so much for sharing.
No problem.
Love what you have. And I invite you to take it a step further and to really get super clear on what each of those look like, so you can recognize once you achieve them. So
Okay.
I'm in a happy, committed, romantic relationship by December 31st, 2020.
Wow, can I do it like that?
You could, yeah. Or you could say, I'm at my ideal weight, or I am working out twice a week, or
Okay. Like measures. Okay.
Yeah, something that that is a little bit more measurable, just so that you could say, yes, I've done that. Otherwise, you might get 6 months in and realize, okay, I'm healthy, or I'm more healthy, but did I achieve what I set out initially to do? Now,
Yep.
there's only just one way to do it. And if you know
No, it's a good idea. Yeah.
what healthy looks like, then great, then you can identify that. Again,
Yeah.
I can't necessarily tell you, but sometimes when we know what it is that we wanted to set out, then we can recognize how to celebrate that once we're there. Okay?
Yeah, I need to be more specific. It's a good advice. Okay.
And maybe it is in terms of career, maybe it's not I am teaching daily in my career, but maybe it's I have identified 3 potential career paths that include teaching.
Correct. So it's just pursuing it. It's pursuing it, really pursuing it, like taking it as far as can be taken in the year.
Yeah. And ideally, there's some sort of time element attached to it, so that you can say, you know, by June, I've identified 3 potential career paths. And then it's coming up June, I've got 2, and then you'll do maybe a little bit more work, and then you can say, okay, wow. And then from there, you'll identify what your next step is. Okay.
Right.
Now, sometimes the goals that we set are difficult to have a year out. Some people say that working in 90-day chunks are far more attainable and actually work a lot better. There's a new body of research that's come out that as humans, we're really only able to focus on 90 days at a time. So sometimes what I do is have larger goals and I break them down into 90-day projects or kind of mini goals. So if by the end of the year you want to have a goal to be in a committed relationship, and I think that's a great one because that's on my list too. So maybe 90 days is, you know, I'm saying yes to dates, or I am open to going or I've reached out to 3 close girlfriends and let them know that I'm looking in case they know of anybody. On may or may not be your thing. You know, and the love one is a tough one actually, and
it is,
different ways about whether or not you can set a goal on it, because it's difficult, right? Some people are very, very much like, no, I'm looking for a partner, and they treat it like they're looking for a job, and kudos to them. People want to believe that, you know, there's things out there for them, but you also have to do work on yourself in order to know that there is somebody. So, you know, I'll leave that open, and I know that it's tough not to necessarily say to have one way when it comes to that love thing.
Right.
I do believe in the power of smart goal setting, and when it comes to some things like love, sometimes that's difficult. But you know what? You can still put it out to the universe, and you can still set a goal with that in mind. And whether you achieve it is not necessarily what it's all about.
It's the journey. It's like you said, who you become on the journey, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even just putting yourself in the mindset that it's possible and that you're deserving of it. So good work. Thank you so much for sharing. And oh my goodness, we have 7 minutes left. Okay, so Sheila has shared some of her goals as well, so I'm going to share them with all of us here. So to work on better food prep, have more fresh live food, and working towards better digestion, lose some weight to help her knees feel better. Great, love that, Sheila. And again, I'm going to pose the same question that I did to Lori. Better food prep, what does that mean? That you're prepping food once a week, that you once a month think about 2 new meals that you want to create. What is it, so that you can get a little bit more specific and you can know when you're actually doing that and achieving it, so you can celebrate. And then, this is a great goal, create a 4 to 5 minute YouTube video, a how-to, and try to drive traffic to your website and or capture emails for newsletter blog. So it could be, great. So to create a 5-minute YouTube video, it'll drive traffic to the website, and will also capture, you can do both at the same time, capture emails for a newsletter and blog. I love that. So this is a great, specific, measurable goal. Love it. The only thing I would say is by when. Because if I want to ask you, Sheila, how's that going? How's that YouTube video? Then I want to know what your goal is in terms of when. So think about whether or not you want to do that in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 7 days, and then let me know so I can follow up and be like, hey, how'd it go? And then you can let all of us know so we can go and watch it, okay? So great, thank you so much. If anybody has any other goals that they want to share, then please raise your hand, share in the chat box, or unmute yourself before we go on. I get so excited by these goals, so thank you all very, very much for sharing. And for those of you who are working on your own goals, I hope they're exciting to you too. Thank you for taking the time to do this. Okay, so we now have our emotions, we have our overall intention for the year, we have our 2 resolutions and 3 goals. The 2 things that we have not yet created are our word and our mantra. And they kind of go hand in hand. And I left them to the end because they're kind of the most exciting. So once you've now set your goals, set your resolutions, and set your intention, what is the one word that comes to mind that encompasses your 2017, your big year? Now, I'll share with you, my word is epic. I'll get into this, but I'm in the middle of a remote year. Not the middle, I just began a remote year. So I'm coming to you live from Mexico City, which is the first city on our first stop of remote year. I'm one of 89 individuals from around the world who are joining and accepted into this cohort. And we're going to be living, working, and traveling in one new city every month over the course of a year. So my word for the year is epic. And one of my intentions is to be fully present in the experience. So even though I am somebody who likes to, go after things and do things, I don't want to necessarily miss out on where I am and what I'm experiencing in the moment. So that's sort of my overall intention. My word is epic. So I want you to think about what your one word would be that encapsulates all that you want to create and experience, again, be, do, and have this year. And then I want you to think about a mantra. Now, some people call it mantra, some people call it affirmation. It can be just a phrase. It can be similar to what your intention is, but I encourage you to have it start with I. So if you are going to become that person who makes those goals, those resolutions, those dreams, all those things happen, what is it that you need to tell yourself that you're being on a regular basis? What phrase excites, inspires, ignites you? What are you committing to? Who do you really need to step into? So for example, your mantra could be, I'm getting out of my comfort zone every single day, or I got this, I can do it, I am making my priorities matter. I am becoming the best version of myself. I am growing each and every day. I am on my journey. I am present, awake, enthusiastic for all life has to offer. So what are some phrases, words that excite you, that inspire you, and maybe take it from your word of the year or your intention and think about what is a powerful phrase, an affirmation, or a mantra that when you read and when you tell yourself excites you, that can help step you into that, okay? So I want you to think about that. And this is often the most challenging of everything. So I totally get that. Take your time. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be finished right now, but I encourage you to get something down because I want you to take that. And even though we have everything all on one page, which is powerful to be able to see that as a vision, I also want you to write this mantra, this affirmation on Post-its, maybe on your mirror, maybe on a little piece of paper that you put into your wallet or your pocket that you have in various places so that you can continue to say it to yourself, to read it, to remind yourself of who you're stepping into, who you need to be in order to create your most epic year, whatever that looks like to you. So if anyone has an idea, then I'd love for you to raise your hand and share it. And for those of you who have a question, then I invite you to ask that too. So I'm going to unmute everybody at this time. Someone's typing. Lori, do you have an idea?
I do, actually. So my word for the year is transformation, which is probably, it sounds a little canned, but this, certainly I feel like that's what this year is for me so far. Actually started last year. And my mantra would be guided by my purpose. Great. Now that sounds like that's a mouthful of marbles because guided, purpose, all of those things. But I like the idea that the purpose is not set. There's an element of ambiguity and there can be some paradox in it. And I love the idea of what you said, like it's the journey and who you become as you're pursuing these things. And so I think mine tend to sound a little conventional, but it is truly where I'm working from at this moment. So I'm just going to let them be.
So I'm going to invite you to add one word, and that is I.
Oh, I am. Okay. Yeah.
I love my purpose. And if you're not sure what your purpose is, and that's intimidating, it could be I am guided by purpose. Because sometimes we can have purpose without even knowing what our purpose is.
You're right.
Segue. So before we started the call, Angela shared with me this new word that she learned, which is Cottywomple. And I'm going to, in the follow-up email with the recording, I will get the exact definition for you, but it's this idea that you are being led by an indefinite purpose. So you're being led by purpose even without having an intent.
Oh my God. Okay. So that could be my word too.
Cottywomple, which is a kind of a cool word. So I'll get that definition.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. So thank you so much for sharing, Lori. I'm gonna move on because I want to now get to a place of, now that we've done all this work, what next? I'm gonna give one more opportunity for anybody else to share. We've got quite a few other ladies here. Anybody want to share their one word? That's what we have time for. Remy?
Mine's kind of a compound word. It was kind of hard for me to figure out. Upward bound.
Upward bound. I love that. Upward bound.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Anyone else? There is something about sharing publicly. I just want to put it out there because just like when we write down our goals, the chance of them actually following through are exponentially increased. Same with when you actually share your word out loud, because you're putting it out to the universe, you're sharing, people can help hold you accountable, and it becomes that much more real. So if anyone wants to just shout out their word, even anonymously, then I encourage you to do so now. Okay, awesome, cool. All right, so what now? So now you have this one-page plan, this one-page guide that I want to continue to inspire you as you move forward. And if you take this and you do something with it, then you will see shifts, you will see changes, and you will get to that place a year from now where you can look back on your year and say, wow, look what I created for myself and my life, which is pretty darn exciting. And because we're humans, we're also going to have times where we don't necessarily feel like we're on it, where we don't necessarily know where we're going. All of us are going to suffer from what I call comparisonitis. We're all going to fall off the bandwagon on one or more occasion, and we're all going to have those periods where we don't necessarily believe in ourselves, we don't feel deserving enough, or we don't necessarily feel ready to go after what it is that we want. So I want to make an invitation to each and every one of you who are ready to play a bigger game, to take action on their goals and dreams, and to achieve what they never thought possible, into something I created called the Tribe. Now, I was in a place where I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do, how I was going to take that first step, what that even looked like. And so I knew that I needed a supportive community. And so, yes, it matters. We're just going through this. Fear stops us. I apologize, I'm going through this quickly. All of these things stop us. So what we need to make sure that we have is that we have a plan, that we can push through that fear on a regular basis, that we work on having that deserving mindset. We have a powerful support network. We have our clear obligations. We change our shoulds to want tos, and we have trust and belief. And when we have a powerful community that can help us with that, what is possible, again, exponentially increases. So I want you to take your intentions, your resolutions, and your goals, oh my, in 2017, and make them a reality. And one of the ways that we can do that is by joining the Tribe. It's a powerful group of women just like you who are really committed to taking action on all that they want to achieve and need that supportive community, want that accountability, want to have people that can be there for the trials, the tribulations, as well as the triumphs and the celebrations. So I'm coming to you from Mexico City, as I mentioned. I want to walk my walk and talk my talk and get out of my comfort zone. And that's why I said yes to this opportunity. I'm traveling with 78 other people, and the support network already within these first 10 days has been so, so important, because we're all going to go through ups and downs, flows when we're in our highs and in our lows. And having people to be there to support and to encourage and to celebrate with is really, really powerful. And so while I take this adventure, this epic year, I want to invite you to go on your adventure in 2017, whatever that looks like to you. And a way that we're going to do that is in this group. What you get is a monthly theme. Every week you get a different video from me with exercises and challenges that I put out there. We're going to do a monthly bucket list activity together. There's a monthly live Q&A call. You get an interview from another woman living big around the world somewhere to inspire you who's already doing it. Again, you get weekly videos, emails. It's a powerful community, and moreover, you're going to get that accountability, which means that when you have questions and you don't know what your next step is, you can pose that to the group. We've got a private Facebook group. We've got, really, really encouraging, again, supportive, awesome community of women who are ready to take their intentions and resolutions and goals and actually create it as a reality this year. And it's pretty darn exciting. The energy is amazing and it's contagious. And when we surround ourselves with people who are like us, who are ready to step up their game, then through osmosis, that is so, so powerful, and that's what we want to. Now, I want to make this really easy for people to say yes. I want to make it affordable and accessible, and so it's $49 a month. And if you want to pay upfront, then you save $100 and you get it for $500 for the entire year. Now, this is an amazing way to really make sure that you stay on your path, you stay true to your plan, and you work the plan. And as a bonus, for those of you who sign up tonight, you're going to get a private one-on-one session with me as well and talk. Now, I'm not necessarily going to read all these things, but these are some of the women who are in the tribe right now, which are great. So it's very flattering that to know that people are getting value out of this already. It just started this month. We haven't fully, launched, but people are already starting to join, and so there's already conversations that are going. There are already vision boards that are being made. I'll show you my vision board right here. So we've got some really, really great people in the community, and very fortunate to have, some lovely things that people are saying, which is amazing. And also people about the Women Living Big community in general and the power of being in that community and what that means for them and their life and their goals. So if this is something for you, then I invite you to stay on the line, and we can go through some questions if you want. I'm also going to be offering a Q&A at the end of the week. And I also recognize it's not necessarily for everyone, but if it is something that kind of excites you and makes you nervous at the same time, if you are ready to step up your game, to step out of your comfort zone and step into your biggest life, whatever that looks like to you, then I really encourage you to consider and to say yes to the tribe. Again, you're going to get that bonus call with me, which is amazing. Plus, I can't even tell you the power of being in this community. Honestly, the connections that are possible. Somebody wanted to speak live on stage. Somebody happens to be on the TEDx team. Someone else wants to run the Tough Mudder. There's a few of them who are committing to already doing that. Like, this is the power of what happens when you're in community. And this is what I want for you. So I invite you to join me on my adventure, my epic adventure this year. As Helen Keller says, life is a daring adventure or it is nothing. And I encourage you to do one thing every day that scares you. One of my fave quotes for Eleanor Roosevelt. You don't necessarily need to know what that looks like. You don't necessarily know how to do that yet, but you do need to know that you matter and that your dreams matter, and together we'll figure it out. So how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And how are you going to make all of your big goals, dreams, ideas come true? One step at a time. And that's what we're going to do together. Now, you can take what we did this evening, put it into place, put it into practice, and I guarantee you, you're going to have an amazing year. And if you want to take it up a notch, then I would invite you to consider really joining the tribe. Before we leave, here's the information. I'm going to send this in a follow-up email as well, so you can look it all up, find out all the information that you need online. I'm going to stay online for a few more minutes if you have any questions or you want to speak one-on-one, but I want to acknowledge each and every one of you for coming this evening. I want to congratulate you for staying to the end. I want you to, I want to celebrate with you and let you know that the fact that you have already done this work means that you are in that top 50% of the population who think about what it is that they want to create, which tells me that you are somebody who's committed to making stuff happen. So again, set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you turn into the person who can. And if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. I want to end on one of my favorite quotes by Marianne Williamson. And she says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, gorgeous, and fabulous? Well, actually, who are you not to be? You're here for a reason. You have unique gifts and talents to share with the world. The world is ready for. Your time is now. You're not meant to play small. You are meant to play big, to live big, and to shine. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So what are you waiting for? Thank you so much for being here. I'm Carol. Again, I'm going to stay on for a few minutes. Until next time. Make 2017 your most epic year, whatever that looks like.